just overall, Reds, a lot of fun watching this Texas Rangers ball club with a lot of anticipation coming into this year. Handle business going 4-2 in their initial homes.
Yeah, and I mean, worth noting, the two teams that they played this year, obviously the Orioles have had some woeful years of, in the recent history, but this is not a terrible team. The Phillies quite literally won the NL pennant last year, right? Like, these are teams that are not, I think they're in some ways some level of measuring stick, and you acquitted yourself fairly well. Losing the series to the Orioles, unfortunately, but one thing that you saw is that you're able to score runs when necessary. Bruce Bochy is delivering on the idea that he can manage a bullpen, which was kind of the question that I had, at least. I know we talked to Jared Sandler about this. It's like, the bullpen, obviously it's malleable. It's something that can get better, but do you have what's necessary? And Bruce Bochy, at least very early in 6 games of 162, has seemed to be able to manage that. But probably the most obvious thing, the easiest thing to point to, the thing that we all knew coming in. Hey, man, Jacob deGrom is good at baseball, right? Like, once every 5 games, you're going to have a dude on the mound that makes it so that no matter who else is, who is stepping to the box, who is playing on the field with you, you have an opportunity to win. And that is the fun portion of this, right? Like, at least for me, is knowing that Jacob deGrom could step up there and have 4 blemish-free innings. And maybe I have to apologize and understand I'm doing it entirely begrudgingly. I'm not like, there's no sincerity within this, but I apologize for tweeting out after the 4th. Ooh, look, Jacob deGrom, I'm blemished through 4, because immediately in the 5th inning, he gave up 2 runs.
You messed it up, huh?
I mean, if you say so.
Okay.
All right. If you telling me that I have the power to control what Jacob deGrom does,
that's what I'm saying.
Ooh, boy, it's going to go crazy.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But no, I think that is a fun portion of this, man. Like, and again, not novel, not obvious. But Jacob deGrom gets out there in 11 strikeouts. That's something that you would love to see. And obviously, when healthy, this team can be even better, because one thing that you could talk about is obviously having Josh Smith go out with that gnarly hit to the face, but also not having your preferred outfield, right, in the places that you want. Because can I point you to something, KG? I don't know if you knew this, but the MLB has kind of taken a look at who are the fastest teams in baseball, especially as we've seen like a giant uptick in steals and steals attempted.
Shout out to the large bases.
All right. So the fastest team in baseball projected, Philadelphia Phillies, who have Trey Turner, fast, and you talk about some of these other guys on their team.
Yep, really good.
Tampa Bay Rays,
who are obliterating everything in front of them right now.
A lot of speed. For some reason, the Cleveland Guardians.
Hey, the Guardians of the Galaxy. Very nice.
And if everything's situated, the Texas Rangers are the 4th fastest team. So the idea of like offense with good pitching and then being able to like stretch that with going and stealing bases, especially if you have Bubba Thompson or Leote on the field in the lineup, which I mean you anticipate when you have full health that those guys, one of those guys is in there, give you opportunity to get extra, get bases. And then also Ezekiel Duran has some speed as well. And then of course a dude who's going to be an everyday player for you, Marcus Semien, also very fast dude when he gets on these base paths. So like you add that on top of the idea that Bruce Bochy's a little old school, he's managing the bullpen well, you've got good pitching. I think that this could be one of those teams that like restores the feeling, man. If you grew up in like the 80s and 90s and watching baseball and loving it, I have a feeling that the Rangers could be that level of team. So like, without even talking about wins and losses, I think that this could be like a wildly fun baseball team just to watch. And I think that's something that this Metroplex really deserves after years and years of not fun baseball from the Texas Rangers, frankly.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say really quickly, coming from somebody who was actually at the game.
Oh wow! Look at you! I can go to baseball games.
Yeah, it was early enough for me to slide through and go into the Globe Life field and the confines of Globe Life field. I will say one thing. For one, that man Jacob deGrom is the real deal, and he is basically our Zava. If you watch Ted Lasso, catch that reference. But also just the energy inside Global Life Field when that man steps up to the mound is completely different, and you totally get a different atmosphere. You feel like the team actually has a chance to win when deGrom is on the mound. And I'm not throwing shade on the other 4 starters, but I'm just saying that definitely you feel like you have a better chance, or a really, really good chance to win with deGrom on the mound.
I mean, and to your point, we're talking about a Jacob deGrom who's 2.55 ERA is the third best all-time in Major League Baseball with at least 200 starts in a career. We're talking about an all-timer here, a two-time Cy Young Award winner, whom in 6 innings today had 11 strikeouts. And as you mentioned, all the confidence in the world is in a DeGrom if you're a defense because of what he brings to the mound every time he gets out there every fifth day. And after a shaky, first start going 3 2/3, was down 5-0 after those, 3 2/3 innings, he came back today and showed why there was so much excitement about DeGrom getting to this baseball team.
Yeah.
And the confidence now that this team will have in an offense that no matter if they're down or whatever the situation may be, they have won. I think that's what the upside of this team and what we've seen so far through 6 games is different than what we saw last year. Just already is the confidence in their ability to feel like no matter what situation they're in a ball game, they feel like they have the offense to be able to come back and win games, which to me, if you're a Rangers fan, you should be really excited about that, because at the bottom of this lineup, after 1 through 6, does their thing with Simeon and Seager and Garver and all these guys at the top of the lineup, if you're getting contributions from the Youngs of the world, the Robbie Grossmans of the world, now you're starting to put together a lot more complete lineup that you can have a lot of confidence in no matter what spot of the order that you are facing. And the Rangers, so far through 6 games, have shown a lot of heart, I feel like, in the first 6 games. And now, more importantly, you saw what Jacob DeGrom is when he is on in a Ranger uniform. And that is virtually unhittable with the 11 strikeouts that he had today.
Yeah, man, I'm really excited now. Of course, when you start off with 11 and 16 runs respectively in your first 2 games, that kind of fits the way that you view this. Since then, 0, 2, and then 5 today. Like the runs, I'm interested to see where it evens out, because again, 162 of these things, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot more. We have a very small sample, but I really am at least hinging my excitement for the season based on like the style of play. And I'm going to reserve judgment on like the aptitude and like the altitude that they can reach to see a little bit more. But I mean, the one thing that is clearly evident right off the jump, DeGrom is a monster on the mound, and you're going to see some fun baseball. And beyond that, I'm really interested to see how this thing develops. And also, again, giving Bruce Bochy his due credit, as he's had for a very long time, but being able to manage the bullpen regardless of what he has within it. And not to say the bullpen that the Rangers have is terrible, but I didn't think that it was going to be able to produce in the way that he's made it produce. He's made it sing in a way that I didn't think that the actual bullpen was capable of. So I'm interested in seeing how far this goes and how we go over the next course of a few weeks at least.
Well, and I think that was one of the biggest questions coming into this regular season for the Texas Rangers was, can the bullpen be a strength of this team given the inconsistencies that we saw from them and what they are going to be bringing to the table? So far, so good. Dane Dunning has been good for this team.
Yes.
You've seen, individuals whom you wanted to see be able to step up in those moments, and so far it's happened. And
Josh Young is your everyday third baseman. Right, like
it's fantastic.
Didn't have the opportunity last year with the injury. Comes in this year and it's like, all right, he's going to hold this down, right? And the definitive answer from Josh is yes, I will hold this down. It's very fun. And then of course Nathaniel Lowe still doing what Nathaniel Lowe does, right? Like Silver Slugger last year, and making it evident that was not an accident by any means.
I mean, Josh Young going oppo today just shows you the strength that the young man has, no pun intended, and what he is capable of doing on a day-to-day basis. And to your point about the speed of this team, one of my favorite hallmarks of a lot of baseball teams that are really good and that show you the kind of baseball that they play is their aggressiveness on the base pass. One of the things that I loved most about that 2002 Angels team that wound up winning the World Series over San Francisco that year was their ability to be aggressive. Mike Scioscia and that team took every opportunity that they could when there were chances there to go from first to third on singles and being able to be aggressive on base pass.
Yeah.
That to me is the mark of a good baseball team. How willing are you being aggressive to make things happen? Force the issue a little bit to pressure defenses based on your capabilities of being able to be good base runners, smart base running. And I think it's really good for a team like this. And you got multiple guys in this lineup that could be 20-20, possibly 30-30 guys. We're talking about Adolis Garcia. We're talking about Marcus Semien. That could be 20-20 guys or even 30-30 guys this year. So speed, power, consistency for this lineup, and aggressiveness, I think, will be a hallmark for this club that I think increases the upside for this team that can hopefully compete for a second wild card spot at minimum this year.
And we continue to see what these new Bruce Bochy-led Rangers are capable of as they will take on Wrigley Field Friday in a day game. 1:20 p.m. is when first pitch is slated for on Friday. And, of course, we'll have that here on 105 Through the Fan, your home of the Rangers.
By the way, I'm liking this because I think today's game ended at about 3:25-ish.
Moved.
But
you know what it is? You are going to have to be on time, right? Like with baseball, I could just be like, oh, they're playing, I'll get there. And then you get there around maybe like this third inning. You're like, all right, cool, let's get on this baseball. You mess around, you will miss the game.
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I think the other night there was a game that went, I think, 1 hour and 47 minutes. I had to look at the two teams that it was, but yeah, the game went, I think, 1 hour and 47 minutes.
So your game today actually went 2 hours and 19 minutes.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
First pitch was at 1:05, done at about 3:15-ish, 3:20, to your point, yes.
Love it. Love it. So I looked around and said, oh, G-Bag gonna mess around have a 3-hour show today.
I'm sure they were super excited about that. They're like, look, man, we got to give these people some content, man. We got to get these people conversation.
I mean, the thing is, we wanted to see pace of play move. And so far, the results have been incredible for Major League Baseball when it comes to games moving in that way.